Thanks for joining me today. Today is a very special YouTube Live. I'm going to show you guys my best tips for learning how to read Turkish sheet music for oud players specifically. So get ready. Hopefully this will go smoothly. I didn't get as much time to prepare as I wanted to, so hopefully this will go smooth. Let me know how many of you who are watching right now can actually read Western sheet music. That will be helpful to know who I'm talking to. So do fill me in the chat. Another announcement that I have is that one of the problems with learning Arabic music and Turkish music is that the scores are not ornamented, and so you have to interpret a lot how you play, and so that's where my my course, the Oud Masterclass, Ornaments Masterclass, comes in handy. You can check that out here. I'm doing a promo this month where I've everyone who enrolls until by the end of the month gets a new video, new tutorial on how to do one of the most important ornaments in Turkish music and Persian music. And it's a type of muting technique. I've done a YouTube video on that previously, and if you've been watching the emails, I shared that again a few days ago. So check that out. I've got a new video about that, so anyone who joins will get that bonus video for free this month until the end of the month. And so this course helps you ornament and learn how to interpret pieces, basically, and where to put certain ornaments, what those ornaments are, and how to do it. So that's what this course is about. Thanks so much, guys, for letting me know. That's perfect. I'm glad to hear that you guys can read. This is very important. At the baseline, it's important to be able to read Western music. I'll show you exactly how to get started with Turkish music. The cool thing about this is that Turkish music, the scores are not authoritative. However, you can find pretty much everything of the tradition, not modern songs per se, but any of the old Ottoman music. You can find everything online. So I want to share with you a couple important websites where you can see all that. Okay, let's get it going. So first, where to find Turkish sheet music. Two main sites that I use. First one is nayzen.com. Let me put that in the chat first. nayzen.com. And that site looks like this. Here it is. When you go to nayzen.com, it'll look like this. You've got a bunch of headings here. Google Chrome, if you may translate it automatically for you. This is a Ney playing website. And if you go here, Nota Arşivi, this is Note Archive. And it's got a bunch of categories here. Ilahiler, these are great. These are Muslim or Islamic hymns that are used in Sufi music in Turkey. And the poetry is often like Turkish mystic, sometimes Rumi, sometimes some Turkish mystic poetry. These are great for learning how to. We're going to look at a couple of these because they're great, because they're simple. They're very simple. They're for like anybody to be able to learn how to sing and do. And they really show the Makam very clearly. If you ever want to learn a Makam, you can just pick one of these, and it really shows you exactly how the Makam is supposed to sound. For the classic Ottoman music, you want to look at here, Klasik Eserler. So this is where you'd go. Let's say we go here for now. Let's talk about this. This is Mevlevi Aynleri. This is the music that would be played in the Sufi order the Mevlevi order. That most of the poetry is Rumi, and Jalaluddin Rumi. And then you've got a list of kind of strange makams. And these are maybe obsolete makams or makams that are not performed very much anymore. So very interesting stuff. Türküler, this is the folk songs, Turkish folk songs. These are going to be your kind of fun music, oyun, havalari. This stuff is really fun music that you might hear in taverns or whatnot. So we're going to go to the classic eserler, and you see, music archives mode list. So mode makam, you see a list of makams. These are all Turkish makams here. So you can basically just go and choose the makam you want to learn, or find some tunes in, and it gives you a great selection. Let's say we click on Busalik. Busalik is where I would recommend that you start. Where to start? Busalik, because Busalik is going to is all the natural notes, basically. There's no accidentals. There may be modulations you find in the songs, but Busalik is where you want to go to get your bearings, basically, first. So if you go there, you can see the form, the music form, Longa, Medal. These are, I think these are, some of these are like unknown pieces. Meter, I think, is military music. Peshrev, these are interlude, prelude, overture kind of pieces. Salsamay, these are those 10/8 Salsamay pieces, very famous in the Turkish and Ottoman tradition. So you can see all these here. We've got a Sırto, Oyun, Havası. That's another exciting, playful tune. Zeybek, this is a particular genre too, usually in 9 rhythm. So you can see, and then you've got these titles. These are all titles of songs, basically. And then on the left, on the right hand side, you've got the composer. So if you look at some of these, they're really interesting. You got some famous oud players, Cinucen Tanrikorur, famous oud player, famous composers, Ismail Effendi. If you're looking for a particular composer, you can come and check here. We've got some modern composers like Göksel Baktagir. These are great, a great reference site. So you can basically have all these makams to choose from. If you go to ilahiler, you'll get a list of just basically a dump of all these tunes in different makams. The makam is here. So if you need to search for Busalik, just go Control F, Busalik, type that in, and look for it. You can find all these tunes in Busalik. We're going to look at one of these. So Busalik is where you should start. Now, if you know the song, or you come across YouTube and you're going across and you can't find something here, another website that has pretty much everything that I haven't found elsewhere is Divan Makam. divanmakam.com. Just make your own login, make an account, and you can search for the name. Let's say Saz Semai Si Bayati. You'll get a whole bunch of, I think I clicked on something. Hold on. So let's say you get some suggestions. So you can check, and then you'll get some suggestions here. Try to find the composer's name. That'll help you find it. So I found some rare stuff that I wasn't able to find on Neyzen.com, but Neyzen.com is a great place to start. You want to just pick and choose a makam, that's the place to go. And so when you're doing this, like I said, you want to start from tunes that are in Busalik, because there's no accidentals in the key signature. That's where you got to start. Then go to other basic makams like Hijaz. Hijaz is here. another basic makam, ushak, which is like Arabic version of bayati. And I'm going to show you how you don't need to change your oud tuning to play these, to read these tunes. Another basic makam, rast. Rast again is important. Another Husseini. So these are the makams you want to look for. Busalik, ushak, hijaz, rast, Husseini. Great repertoire in all of these. Lots of other stuff too. So, okay, now comes to the reading part of it. So let's look at this tune. Get your questions down, and if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. What I have here is Uskudar. Uskudar is a tune that I have in some of my courses. I teach it to a lot of my students. Anyone who's taken lessons with me, you've probably seen this before. But this is written in Turkish standard notation. And the most important note that you want to look for is your A note, written A, La. In Turkish music, they use the ABC system, they use the solfege system, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, and they also use their own historical note names as well. They use all three systems. Everybody knows all of them for the most part. It's good to learn those. However, what I want to do is give you some quick shortcuts. Now, your A note, the thing about Turkish music is they're all written in the same reference point. So let's say, so for example, every makam, let's say you see there's not going to be any transpositions. If you see makam busalik, it's all going to be written in the same key signature. You're not going to see any change of key signature. It's always going to be no sharps or flats or anything in here. And so when, let's say you want to need to play busalik in a different key signature, you mentally transpose. And so that's what we're doing. When we're tuned to Arabic tuning, you got to forget about absolute pitch. And you got to think about which open string are you going to define as A written on the score. That's the key. So A is our tonic for busalik. We define it as any of our open strings. Now, the standard tuning for most places where it's most comfortable for oud players to play, A is going to be defined as your third course. This is concert D. It's going to be written A. If you are playing a Turkish tuned oud that's tuned to standard tuning, it's going to be a concert E. So that's where it's important to forget about what the note name is and just think about, okay, my written A that I see on the page, what open string am I defining it as? One of the easiest ways is to define it as your third course. But we have an even easier shortcut that we can use. If you want to just come from Western music and you want to read just as it is, like absolute pitch, concert pitch A, you play A, you see A, you play A, then what you can do is define A as your fourth course because it is tuned A. Now, don't worry about the octave. We're not thinking about octave. We have to think about the makam. And so if you do that, I have a suggestion for you. If you're going to do that, you want to tune your F string. You want to tune it down to an E. Because it's going to make it easier to play everything that you need to play. So you want to read concert A and hear concert A, then you got to define your fourth string as the A that we see in the middle of the page, in the middle of the staff. Then you can easily read Turkish notation and you're playing exactly what you're seeing. You've got all the natural notes. You've got A, B natural, C, D, E, F, G, and A. Yeah. So it becomes very easy to read these scores, at least starting from Palabiyik anyway. However, you're reading 1 octave or 2 octaves, you're hearing 2 octaves lower or something like that. It's very different range, but at least it helps you to read what you've got in front of you. So that would be the starting point. Now, most Turkish Ouds, they're going to be playing in a different tuning. So there's a couple different tunings that they've got. I'm thinking about where to go with this, whether to dive into the different tuning definitions or not. But anyway, let's see here. Let's bring out a couple scores and see if we can read this as reading A and playing A. So we've got this line here. Pretty easy, right? We have another phrase here. Palabiyik often has what's written a G sharp here. Now, because I helped you guys by tuning down to E, because that's the only way you're going to be able to play that G sharp the way it's supposed to be played. So that's important. Now, if you're going to tune E, I would also recommend that you tune your low bass string D. That way, actually, D, what else works here? C works as well. Yeah, C works fine. C or D works well with this tuning when you're trying to read scores in absolute pitch with the actual note that you're doing. So this is one way that you can read all the scores. Now, let me show you another curveball. So, let's see. Oh, it looks like one of my scores wasn't showing, was it? Where did it go? Oh, now it is. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, well, that's interesting that you guys are getting server not found. It's nazen.com. I access it all the time. I wonder if I put it in properly. nazen.com. Yeah. I hope my score was showing. I'm not sure if it was showing, but hopefully it was. Okay, let me show you a different score. Okay, back to nazen.com. So here's another tune in Palabiyik. See how this is visible here. So you can see there's no key signature. Your A, if you want to define your open string as A, then we've got that. You can easily play it. It may be a bit of a learning curve remembering where your notes are, with the E being tuned to E instead of F or G or what have you, but it's a way of getting around it. Now, let's go to another Makam. Let's go to okay, we got Hijaz. Hijaz is a good one. This is a Hijaz, hymn in Hijaz. A great tune to start with. Now we enter the particular accidentals that Turkish music has. Now, the way that is best to look at this is that this is basically, interpret this as a type of flat. This flat here with a line in it. There's specific ways to think about it, and there's specific intervals that are at play here. But what you want to think about is, okay, we've got our A is our A. So after A, we've got B natural, right? So where is this flat in terms of a B natural? It's going to be somewhere between a B flat, a full B flat, and a B natural. Now, if you know it's Hijaz, you know roughly how it's supposed to sound. You can interpret this as a little slightly sharper B flat. Then we have this sharp here. So of course we're playing in a different range that we usually play. We've got, where's my C natural? Find your C natural first, and then think of this sharp as a sharp that's not too sharp. It's a little bit flatter than a normal sharp. But for all our purposes, we can interpret it as a sharp, a full sharp, let's say. Just to simplify things. These are more specific, but this will get you started. So we've got basically flat and a sharp. So that is what we know to be Hijaz. I'm gonna show my screen here, get rid of some of this, just bear with me here. You can see my screen a bit more. Move that around. Okay. Okay, so we've got the first degree of Hijaz, the A, and then we've got our flat, and then we've got our sharp, and then we have our D, which is our next open string, right? Then we have an E natural. Then we have this F sharp in the key signature. Now Hijaz in Turkish tradition uses a F natural and an F sharp. This F sharp is not quite as sharp as we usually play it. Let's go through the Hijaz scale. Going to the F natural there. So let's hear how this song will sound. Basically the idea there. You can see I got tripped up around the G because I forgot that I'm tuned there. So you have to think of in terms of the Makam more so than what the absolute pitch of the note is. But the A is telling you which is your open string. the D is also telling you which is your next open string. So define your A as some open string, and then you'll be able to play this. Now, if I want to define my A as my third open string, this is where I would usually play Hijaz on an Arabic oud. So this is how it would sound. It's easily transposable. So now I've defined my A as my third open string. So you kind of have to think of that in terms of, and forgetting about absolute pitch. Okay, this is going to be my La, you just call it La. And then think about the Makam that you're playing and how the Makam is supposed to look on that area. And then try to get the song. And then by remembering that your A is one of your open strings, your D is going to be your next open string, and then your G is going to be your next open string above that. So those 3 points will help you fill in the gaps of where you are when you're seeing a G. Okay, that's my highest open string. Okay, next note down is a F natural. So G and F natural are one step apart. So you can think like that. Another important place is defining your E as a particular zone. So the A and the E are a fifth apart, right? So if it's an E natural and an A natural, that's that magic fifth that we always have on the oud. So making sure that you remember where your E is an important thing to help you figure out where to go. And basically what you are doing is learning how to transpose without thinking about, okay, A is E or A is D and this and that. What you're thinking more about is, okay, where do I usually play the Makam? And if I know the Makam, then I can kind of figure out where I am. And I know my open string is A, then I should be able to find the rest of the notes and make do with what you have there. And if you really need to remember, you can just try to remember that, okay, if I'm transposing, you can transpose manually the way you'd normally transpose, thinking, okay, A is actually concert D, then what would D be? It would be concert G. You could do that, but that's really slow. It's best to think about the Makam and to go from there. Let's look at another score here. Okay, actually it's best to go into another thing before we talk about another score. Get rid of this. So another thing to look at is accidentals. I have to find this here. I can find this fast. Find the table of accidentals. Okay, this is really interesting. It seems complicated, but it's not going to be that complicated. Find my accidentals page. Okay, here we go. Okay, excellent. All right. So we have some symbols here and their names. So we saw two symbols already. We saw the flat with the line through it and the sharp. And these have some comma measurements, interval measurements. We've got our normal flat, which is a very flat, and we've got this funny sharp here, which is a very sharp sharp. So when you see this sharp, it's actually sharper than our normal sharp. These are actually the range. So let me demonstrate this a little bit here. So let me demonstrate first our normal flat that we'd see. Normal flat. Let's say we've got a B flat on the score that we're seeing. I'm defining, let's say okay, let's go to the A. So A is A, our open string. If I'm looking at a B flat on the score, then it's going to be around here where a normal B flat would be, right? Now, let's say I had a B flat with a line through it here. It's called bakiye. If I have that, then it's a little bit sharper. It's still a flat, but it's a sharper flat. So we've got, let's interpret it as a normal flat, which is way to the left. Then we've got slightly sharper flat over here. This is not quite a half flat that we have in Arabic music. It's a bit flatter, and there is some variation. Now, this backwards flat is going to be a very close to the natural note, to the B natural. If we have a B 1 comma flat, as it's called, comma bemolu, then it's going to be a little bit flat than a B natural. It's about here. Now the best way to find this is to use your open E string. So you can easily find E to B is a fifth. Perfect fifth. E to B natural, right? If you want to find 1 comma flat, you just slightly bring your finger to the left and make those sound out of tune. And then you found it. This is a tone that's used a lot in Turkish music, in Makam Rast, in Makam Sega. So this is just shy of a natural note. If we're playing Buselik, it has no accidentals. But if we were to play Buselik with a 1 comma flat, this backwards flat that you see, it would sound like this. So a makam that we have that in is Makam Ushak. Let me show you that one. Here's my Ushak. I lost my Ushak. One sec here. A famous tune in Makam Ushak. All right. Here it is. Hopefully you can still see my oud barely here. Okay. See the key signature? We've got a backwards flat on the B. Backwards flat on the B there. So this is going to be your 1 comma flat. Now, this is where there's a caveat with Makam Ushak, is that they write 1 comma flat, but they actually play it even flatter, especially in descending passages. This is where tonal gravity comes in, and the whole theory versus practice and all that kind of thing. You really have to use your ear to find what that note is. But anyway, I'm gonna start playing this one, absolute pitch. So my A is my actual A open string. This funny note here. See how out of tune it is with the fifth? It's just a 1 comma flat. It's slightly flat. Now in ending phrases, it's often played a bit flatter, or there's a bend put on it. Let's go from the Taslim. This is a beautiful popular tune. Let's go again. Bit flatter on the descending passages, but this is something that I'm still practicing too. Okay, now I want to show you down here. We've got this second khana, and we've got an E with the flat with a line through it and a sharp here. So this E is not going to be a full flat, but it's not going to be like a 1 comma flat. Here it is done. It's going to be about here. And then we have the F sharp, which is not too sharp, but it's sharp enough. It's about here. So we've got we basically have the ingredients for Hijaz now. It's like Makam Bayati Shuri or Makam Karciğer in Turkish Ottoman music. And so this would be that Hijaz formula. You've got this flat with a line through it and a sharp with 2 notes. Your E has been changed. Here, back to F natural, E natural. Yeah, you're always trying to think, okay, what is the makam that's being played here, and how do I think about this? It takes some getting used to. That's why I recommend starting with songs and tunes that are in Busalik, like an easy tune like this one. It's a hymn, and getting used to reading in and transposing to different open strings. Then once you get good at doing Busalik, Hijaz, and Ushak makams, then go to Rast. I'll show you Makam Rast. Now, these different transpositions of Makam of the note Rast are where all these different tunings come from. In Turkish music, there's so many different tunings that they use, and these tunings are what you define the note Rast to be. I'll show you a couple things here. Actually, let's go to any questions first, because I want to clarify anything that needs clarification. I know there's a lot going on here, and this is could be a bit more organized. Okay, yeah, so Nazen wasn't working, unfortunately. That's weird. Okay, let's see. I don't know why that is. Interesting. So, question, names of the makams, Bayati, Rast, or Hijaz mean? Might their translations be? Okay, yeah, so there are actually, this is a good question. There are actually reasons for the names behind them. So, for example, Makam Rast, the most basic standard makam ever throughout history, means it's a Persian word that means straight or straightforward. This was the basic scale. Like in Western music, you have your major scale. Makam Rast was the basic makam. All the basic intervals that you had on the instruments were based on these Rast notes. And so they were basically all what we call our natural notes. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Now, the way that modern Turkish has been formulated and the way they decided to do things, now the Makam Rast has 2 accidentals in it, where that's kind of strange, because if it was the natural scale, the most basic fundamental scale with the, they didn't use letter names and augmenting with flats and sharps. They use a different system. I'll show you briefly what that system looks like. So here are Turkish and Arabic old note names that you used to have, all the way down from C. Now the notes that we're looking for, look at the note Rast. It's notated always notated the same as G on the staff. So these different tunings that we have, there's different tunings called bolahenk in Turkish music, supurde, kız, Mansur. These are all, when you define your written G, the Rast note as a different absolute pitch note. So for example, Arabic, when you tune your Oud to Arabic tuning, and you play Makam Rast based on the note C, that's called supurde in Turkish music, because C is defined as the note Rast. And so all the other tunings are derived from that. When you, let's say, for example, the main tuning that the Turks use for Oud is usually bolahenk. It's absolute, Rast becomes absolute pitch D, because it's all one whole step above an Arabic tuned Oud. So this is another topic which takes a little bit disorienting to think about. But this is the old note naming system. We had the note Rast, which means straightforward. It was a Makam name as well as a note name, as well as a tetrachord name or pentachord name. And you have all these other names. Duga. Duga is the main note that I was talking about, our A note, written A. This is, you have to define it as one of your open strings. And then you've got the Kurdi note, Sega note, you've got Busalik, you have Charga, Hijaz note. This is an important note for, no, this is a Nim Hijaz note, forget about that. Then you've got Neva note, Hisar, Husseini is another important note, the E note, named after Makam Husseini. These are all Makam names and note names, and they all have some practicality to them. This is again another topic, another thing of discussion. But the note names and the Makam names, they do have origins, and some are obscure and some are not so obscure. The ones that are something ga, yega, duga, siga, these come from Persian as well. They mean basically first position, second position, third position. And charga as well, fourth position. The word Hijaz, it's in reference to the region, the Hijaz region in Saudi Arabia. Neva is another Persian word that means melody, and then Gerdaniye is another Persian word which means it's now I can't remember the definition, but anyway, Shahnaz is another Persian word. Husseini comes from the Arabic name Hussein. Let's see, Evich means like climax or pinnacle. No, that's Oj. Wherever is Evich? No, I think I'm right. Yeah. Anyway, see, there's things that even I'm still a little bit shaky on myself. Kurdi comes from the Kurdish people. It's the origin of the word. Mahur, I think it's another Persian word too. Muhayyer means, I think it means like something strange or opposite. I can't remember now off the top of my head. It's an Arabic word. So you've got a mix of Arabic words and Persian words that make up these origins of these things. Yeah, so some of them are obscure, some of them are not so obscure. Where did that go? Somehow it's not always showing. Sorry about that. Okay, there it's back. Okay, maybe I did have it there. All right, let's see more questions. All right. Okay, good. One question about which string tuning does it use? My oud is very old, in 1918 Turkish. So you can tune it to Turkish tuning depending on the strings. You can also tune it to Arabic tuning. Basically, you've got C, G, D, A, F, and then C for Arabic tuning. If you want to tune it higher, you can tune it to Turkish tuning, but it really depends on what strings you have on there. Okay, so let's see here. I wish I had some more things that I could show you here that would make things a bit easier. How much practicing does transposing in your head take? What are some good exercises to do that? So yeah, I would recommend just starting with Busalik. Any tunes that are in Busalik, like these simple scales or ilahi that you can find. Let me find my. So for example, go to nazen.com and find the. Oh yeah, so find some ilahi in Busalik, and then practice defining your A, written A, as your open D string, your third course. And then just try to like find the notes. So A, that's my A, that's where I'm starting. Next note is B. It's a natural, so I know that it's gotta be one step above. So B and then C. B and C are half step apart, so you use one finger space. So back to A, B, C, A, B, C. Now let's say, okay, you've got this G sharp in here, okay? So you know that A and G sharp are only half step apart, right? So if D is your A note, then half step below A, written A, is going to be here, where we call in absolute pitch C sharp. So when you using this tuning, you're defining your A as being D, your third course, then you're basically reading everything a fourth below it actually is. You got written A, you're playing a D. So if you're G, it's a C. So G sharp would be C sharp. So you can find your C sharp there. And if you know what Makam Busalik should sound like, Busalik is just basically a minor with that half step below, then it's easier to figure out the rest of the notes. So I would go around like that, looking at these other tunes and figuring out the scales. Go find a song in Hijaz, for example, and play it on your third course. So look at the key signature and then try to figure it out. Define your A, because that's the tonic of Hijaz. And then, okay, we've got a funny flat, so we know this is supposed to be some kind of flat. We know that the Hijaz is supposed to sound a certain way with the flat. So we're going to define it there, around there. It's not super flat, but it's not so sharp either. So it's about here. Then we have a C sharp. So that's a bit hard to figure out. C sharp would be 4 notes apart, so that would be my F sharp. Remember that Turkish F sharp is not super sharp. It's a little bit flatter than a normal sharp that we would think of. So So you can flatten your finger a little bit. And then we know that our D, written D, is our second open string. So that's 4 notes apart. So D, we see D, we think absolute pitch G. And just practice the scale that you see in the key signature. You know it's supposed to be Hijaz, so it should sound like Hijaz. And then you know that Hijaz uses sometimes a sharpened sixth degree, or yeah, sixth degree. So that's where that F sharp in the key signature comes from, and that would be our B natural. In descending passages, you use a F natural. So where's my E again? Think about where's my E natural. It's my perfect fifth above the A. So F natural's got to be only a half step away from E. So my F natural is my third finger there. Practice the scale again. Then try to figure out some of these notes here. So for example here, I know my G, if my A is my third open string and my D is my second open string, G, define it as your highest open string. And remember that there's an F sharp, and we have G, F, G here. So this is G, F sharp. And you know that F sharp is about half a step underneath the G natural. So remember that F sharp is not so sharp as we usually think. It's a bit flatter than a normal F sharp. So we can find out where those are. So hopefully that can help get through learning how to read Turkish notation. From there, these are the two common ways that you would approach learning. If you're an Arabic oud player, tuning with Arabic tuning, these are the most common places that you're going to play these makams. And so after a while, it gets pretty straightforward. Now I want to show you another tool that I use all the time in Google Chrome. I'm gonna full screen this so you can see it all. All right. This is a very important tool. If you are listening to something that you found on YouTube or Spotify or something like that, and you finding that it's not in the key, the same tuning as your oud. Let's say they're using a Turkish oud which is tuned one step higher. There's a tool that you can use in Google Chrome to transpose this without changing. You can change the pitch without distorting the sound too much. It's called Transpose. It's an extension for Google Chrome. Let me show you this in action. Give me a sec here. Let's find a nice Turkish tune in here. Bayati. Okay, it's coming up. Okay, so let's say you bring up a YouTube video like this, and you want to change the pitch. You can use this tool here, transpose half step down, and you can even get more accurate with it. can speed it up or slow it down. It will do it for you. So if you're trying to figure out how to play this on your Arabic Oud, or you're trying to listen and you want to play along, you can use this Transpose app to figure out how to get it. You can go called transpose.video. You can go and find this, download it for Google Chrome. I use it all the time when I study Turkish music. It's a fantastic little tool. And it works with Spotify too, so anything that any audio that you're playing through your web browser, it pretty much works with it. So that is what I recommend doing. All right, thanks so much for joining me today. Let's answer some questions, and then I gotta be on my way. Remember, guys, that there's a promo I have going on with the masterclass. That's the problem with Turkish scores, is that they're not ornamented, so you have to interpret. You have to know how to interpret, and this course helps you learn how to interpret. Let's see if there's any other questions and answer them. Yeah. So so in terms of time, how long it takes, it can take. If you do it, every regularly for a month, you'll be okay. You'll be good. No problem. It's really about doing it. You really just have to sit down and do it for a little while, and you start to figure it out. Just thinking about it and thinking about transposing is not going to help. You got to think about the Makams mostly, and where your strings are corresponding. Don't think about absolute pitch anymore. Just throw absolute pitch out, and just think about how flat the note should be relatively to a natural note, and that'll help you. And knowing the Makams that you already know in Arabic music will help you roughly know how they sound. From there, the more advanced stuff, that takes a lot more time, and you have to listen very hard, because some of the Makams do deviate in Ottoman music. So that's a thing that I'm still doing myself. So it can take a long time to learn all the Makams and the way that they're written. Why is this showing? All right, let's see here. Not sure why that is showing there. Maybe there's some kind of delay. All right, another question: in what are the musical aesthetics that the Arabic style demands from the musician or instruments? Same question, but Turkish style. Yeah, so there's a lot there. That's a big topic. For example, one big thing is that, like, some makams that are in Turkish music don't exist in Arabic music. They may exist in theory, but they're not used. And so that's part of the aesthetic. Some of the sounds just don't work. The one big thing is that makam rast in Turkish music, theoretically they're the same, but the intonation sounds very different in Arabic music and Turkish music. The third degree in Turkish music is much sharper. It's a 1 comma flat, whereas in Arabic music it's a full quarter flat. So that's part of the aesthetic. The intonation there. The intonation is a big one, and the way that the ornaments work. The ornaments in Turkish music are very different. The course that I do, it's got some ornaments that are used in Turkish music, but it's more of an Arabic style, Arabic aesthetic type of ornaments that you'd play naturally on the oud. So yeah, good luck, and I hope that this gives you a little inkling of what you can do just on your own. And expose yourself to the world of Ottoman music, which goes back quite a long time. There's pieces that you can find on Neyzen that are like from the 17th, 18th century, and so they're fantastic. I'll show you a little example, because I really enjoy doing that and finding tunes like that. For example, you go to Buzurk, for example, here. And if you find this guy, Kantamiroglu, Demetrius Kantamir, he was around in the 17th and the 18th century, and he wrote a treatise on music. He was a Moldovan who was ended up getting captured, and he served in the Ottoman court. This is a composition from all that time ago. He wasn't notated in this standard notation. Well, Kantamir had his own notations that was in Western notation. But yeah, you can see there's some funny key signature here. Yeah, some interesting work that you can explore. So yeah, there's also some funny stuff like that have been attributed to Farabi, the Islamic Golden Age philosopher on music, and that's doubtful that they're actually Farabi's compositions, but they're old. Nobody really knows who has composed them. I'll give you an example. Yazkar. Let's find. There's a Peshrab here by Farabi. Abu Nasr Muhammad ibn Tarhan ibn Uzlu. You can see the date of his birth and death here. Very old. I mean, this is doubtful that it's actually his composition. But you can tell that the composition is very old. It's very interesting. And Hijaz Kar, you can, if you get past these accidentals and understand where these accidentals come from and what they mean, you can play it. Like, I'll give you an example. I play it in the key of C, with written G. Sorry, let's do this again here. My tuning. Did a poor job of sight reading that, but you get the idea that this is doable. You can read this and you can interpret it and learn how to do it eventually. But yeah, this is very cool stuff that you can explore. All right, so thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope this gave you a possibility of what you can do and inspired you to study some Turkish music. Something that I enjoy doing myself when I have time to just look at some strange makams that I find on nazen.com and try to find the recording of the piece or try to interpret the piece and imagine what it would sound like. And so it's quite a fun thing. All right, thanks so much for joining. Good to see you, Daniel. Good to see you, Michael, Carol, and yeah. Thanks so much for joining. Have a great evening wherever you are, and see you next time.